I shot the sheriff.
But I did not shoot the deputy.
I shot the sheriff. But I did not shoot the deputy.
We didn't start the fire.
I did.
But we're gonna start this podcast.
Now for our feature presentation.
That's a sign of things to come, I think. Perfect. Hello and welcome back to another episode of How About This Movie. Today we will be reviewing the 2004 Kung Fu movie, Kung Fu Hustle. There will be no shout out, because no one guessed the movie.
Disappointed.
Pretty hurt. But if you'd like a chance to win that shout out, make sure you follow us on our social medias. We post the pictures there. Do we still post them on the other social medias?
Mostly just Facebook. Nobody ever comments on Instagram.
Shit, okay. Well, follow us on Facebook, and maybe if you also follow us on the other platforms, we'll post them on the other platforms. But it's Jecll Studios across the board. Let's get into this. Tyson, who was in this movie and who directed it?
Oh, well, it's directed by Stephen Chow, who did Jecll and Soccer. It also stars Stephen Chow.
And what was he in?
Jecll and Soccer.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he's done a lot of, obviously, Chinese language films.
Yeah.
A lot of which are Kung Fu films. To be expected.
Yeah.
Since Stephen Chow's a huge Bruce Lee fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Heavily influenced by Bruce Lee, it would make sense that shows in your work.
yeah. Also, I am terrible at pronouncing names, so I apologize. But it also has Hua Yuen, Quan Chan, Tse Chung Lam, who was the big old fat guy.
Yeah.
Hua Yuen was the
landlord, right?
Yeah, the male landlord guy.
Yeah.
Q Yuen was the lady landlord. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong.
No one at this table can do any
I
better.
apologize for my ignorance. And then also Su Lung Luang or Leung.
And
I'm terrible.
Dude, no one's judging you.
I'm judging myself.
We would both be doing just as bad as you are.
Yeah, I'm judging myself.
If we have any,
If these were German names, I'd be spot on every time. But yeah, Su Lung Leung was the main bad guy at the end, the top killer.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
Toe style.
Quan Chan was the leader of the Axe Gang, the main Axe Gang dude. But yeah. That's all I wrote down.
I think that's good enough.
I think that's enough names to butcher in this
Yeah,
podcast.
no, I think that's plenty. So, Kung Fu Hustle is obviously a Kung Fu movie.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Chow's character, Stephen Chow plays the lead, Sing, starts off wanting to be in the Axe Gang. And then, for reasons that still aren't quite clear to me, decides to be a good guy. And that's the movie. That's the whole thing. There's good stuff in between those things.
You guys no longer have to see the movie. You actually just explained the entirety of it right there.
I mean, you should, though, because it's good. Well, I mean, there's more to the plot. There's the part where he goes to the town, and because he's being a jackass, he starts the whole conflict of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's that part. Because he wanted to be in the Axe Gang, so he pretended to be in the Axe Gang. And then it started a big fight between that town and the Axe Gang.
Town called Pigsty.
Mm-hmm.
And it started a whole fucking war. I just don't understand why he changed sides right in the middle. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's always established that he's fairly sympathetic. Throughout the entire movie, even though he acts like a jackass, he's still you see conflict in him.
Yeah.
Constantly.
That's true. They smashes that dude on the fucking head.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts screaming. "Ah!" That's what he looked like.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he looked like.
Yep. I'm a master actor. Yeah, I mean that's all I've got for the plot. You guys have anything you'd like to add?
Well, there's a good bit of comedy in there too. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I didn't. There's
Yeah.
comedy throughout. Lots of little cheeky references.
Mhm.
It's well written, so it's well written. So not just through comedy or not through references, but there's organic comedy in the movie.
Yeah, they always they don't take themselves too seriously.
No, like they definitely don't disrespect. At least to me, I'm pretty uninitiated in it, but they don't seem to disrespect the classic kung fu film. But it's not like they're not taking it so seriously.
Yeah, the fight choreography was still really well done.
Yes.
It's just that they never missed an opportunity to add comedy in there. And they did it,
Like
they always did it very successfully, in my opinion.
They took some of the tropes of like kung fu movies and how like cheesy they can be sometimes, and they were just like, let's accentuate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take all the like wire fu and just make it hilarious and some of what it can be cheesy from old kung fu movies.
Yep.
Make it terrible.
I also liked the constant someone getting hit and then their shoe just fucking flying off. Like, Jesus, how hard are you hitting these people?
Like when they zoomed in on the one really fast guy, where he was like clenching down on the shoe to kick somebody so it doesn't go flying.
What about you, Carly? I know you really enjoyed this movie.
This is one of Carly's favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, you'll definitely see that when she gives us a perfect 10 out of 10 and recommends it.
She's going to give it an 11 out of 10.
She might even give it a 12.
Predictions.
Tyson, what was the budget of this movie and how much did it make?
Well, the budget of this movie was about $20 million, which is obviously going towards all the CGI that was in this movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of CG.
There's a lot of practical effects and a lot of CGI, which I like the blend. The CGI, this is 2004, 2005, so the CGI was noticeable.
Yeah, it wasn't good CGI.
Yeah. But it still grossed worldwide over 100 million.
Yeah.
So, and on its opening weekend, for its worldwide opening weekend, it made 6.7 million.
It's a good chunk back.
Which is healthy, yeah. It was number 123 in 2005. It was also number 12 for foreign language films, top grossing in the U.S.
In 2005 or of all time?
Of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon takes the number one spot.
Not much of a surprise there.
Yeah, it's over double what the second place is. So,
It was a very popular movie.
It was also number 63 for martial arts movies.
Yeah. When we looked at martial arts movies, take that with a grain of sand, a grain of salt, a grain of sugar. It's
the 3 Rush Hour movies were number 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mixed bag of actual kung fu movies. No disrespect to those movies.
Yeah. No, I think Jackie Chan was in like the top 4 movies.
I think that's what you said. He was in all of the top 4.
Yeah. Then the 3 Rush Hours and then the new Karate Kid.
Yeah. I mean, pretty good movies, most of those.
Yeah. But I didn't see the new Karate Kid, but I own all 3 of the Rush Hours.
Yeah.
I like Jackie Chan.
I love Jackie Chan.
Yeah, Drunken Master.
Yeah.
It's great.
All of the Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Night. That was my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Haley love those.
Yeah.
As well you should.
You could see Jackie Chan get killed in Enter the Dragon by Bruce Lee.
You could also see Bruce Lee fight Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
In Game of Death.
In Game of Death, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch that one. That's the next kung fu movie I want to watch.
I like the scenes that Bruce Lee is actually in Game of Death because he died during production.
Yeah, that's when he died, right?
Yeah.
There's a movie I watched with my dad that I actually cried in.
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden Kingdom.
Oh yeah, I know that one. That was also Jackie Chan. It's also got Jet Li.
I was gonna say, is that the one they're in together?
Yep. That was a great movie.
Tearjerker.
I've never seen it.
think that one came out in like 2006.
Is it really that old?
Something like that. Yeah, it's pretty old.
Were they in another one together then?
Probably.
Like since they got older?
Probably.
You know what other martial arts movie I like?
Hmm.
The One.
Oh yeah. Another Jecll.
Yeah. I loved the premise of that movie.
Oh yeah, it's just one dude going around killing all of his alternate selves so he gets more powerful.
Yeah. That was a great fucking premise.
Wasn't that one of the like 17 movies Jecll is in with Jason Statham?
I think so.
Yeah.
There was one of those me and my dad watched, and we were very disappointed because we were hoping it was better than it was.
Mm.
Me and my dad watched a lot of martial arts films growing up because my dad's kind of a martial arts fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I watched every like major Jet Li release until Fearless came out, and then I never watched another one.
Yeah.
So I've never seen From Fearless on
Fearless.
anything that Jet Li's done.
That was a tearjerker too.
I'm not a huge Jet Li fan. More when he's a supporting character, I think. But that is just me,
I liked him in
my opinion.
his 2 movies with DMX.
Yeah.
Cradle to the Grave and the other one. I like both those movies a lot, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen those.
I like them.
He's in Lethal Weapon 4.
I've never seen any of the Lethal Weapons.
I own all of them. We're gonna have to do.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do them. Yeah. Favorite scenes already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start with Carly since we know she loved this movie.
She's gonna pick every scene.
I know it's gonna be really hard
Yeah.
for us to get anything in here. Carly, what's your favorite scene in this movie that you loved?
I know it seems a little wild, but there is a scene I actually like.
That's actually not that loud because I'm sure you enjoyed some of them.
There's a lot of the movie that's not too ridiculous for me. But some of the hilarious parts when there was the musical battle with the guys just playing on that, and at the end of that where the guys in the car just look and they look back and then she's just sitting between the two guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the other mob guys come up and he's like, there are people trying to sleep. They work in the morning.
Get out of here,
Jeez.
scumbags!
Just trying to like appease her. Yeah, that one was great.
Now, my question before we move on:
Yes.
you have a magical. I used to know the name of that instrument. Mandolin.
No, mandolins are the little ones.
You have a magical instrument. Sorry, I can't think of the name of it right now. That you can launch swords with, or full-formed skeleton barbarians. Why were they shooting fists?
Because why not?
Oh, it's because it's a versatile instrument.
But if I punch you, it hurts way less than if I stab you.
But really hard punches can do internal damage.
So can stabbing.
But that's more like external to internal damage.
I'm curious as to what that instrument's called. Hold on. It's called a zhang.
A zhang. Damn it. I wasn't even remotely close. Tyson, what's your favorite scene in this movie?
Probably. I don't know. It's hard to choose. I like this movie so much. It's probably when the two main dudes get to Pigsty for the first time, or when they go back to kill the landlady. It's very hard for me to pick between those two because they're so hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... They're both really good. Oh my gosh.
Pulls the knife out and sticks it back in.
There was a friggin' handle. Who's throwing handles?
Oh, that scene cracks me
Handle?
up. Every time. What about you, Daxton? What's your favorite scene?
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's hard to pick a favorite. I think that just because of the way it resonates with me from when I watched this movie as a kid, because I used to watch this movie like once a month at least for a long time as a kid.
I believe it. You're a creature of habit.
That's true. That is true. Both of you know that because, yeah. Tyson had to share a room with me for like 5 years.
You find something you like and you just stick to it.
Yep. So I used to watch this movie a lot, and when Mr. Beast like reveals his like school, the toad, and he like turns himself into a fucking toad. And I think that's probably my favorite scene, just because of how it stuck with me over the years. But there's a lot of really good scenes, like when he's in like when they're all fighting, and then the boss of the Axe Gang's yelling at him, he just fucking thwacks him. You know, the ones you said, obviously. Mm-hmm. The one Carly said. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of good scenes in this movie because it's a good movie. Tyson, what would you score this movie, and would you recommend it?
I'd score this movie probably 7.5 or 8 out of 10. And I would recommend this movie, especially for people who like both kung fu movies and comedies, and also foreign language films, especially Chinese.
Yeah.
Because it's just a good movie.
Yep.
Pretty much all around.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
With the exception of the special effects, but for the time...
For the time, they were fine.
Yeah, they were fine for the time, but like they didn't age very well.
Yeah, if you get hung up on how well special effects age, that's going to be a bugaboo for you when you watch this movie, for sure.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Carly?
Think I would have to, because I give it a lot of shit, but this movie's not terrible. It's kind of ridiculous and not the type of movie I usually go for. So I'm going to go middle of the row and go 5 out of 10.
Now, before we ask if you would recommend it or not, is this movie worse than The Tall Man?
No. Like, Tall Man is much more bad than it is good. And this movie is probably equal parts hilarious and not my type of movie.
Follow-up question. Equally as important. Is this movie worse than Holmes and Watson?
No, I gave Holmes and Watson a worse score. So...
Just remember the scores and your questions will be answered.
No one's going to remember the scores.
Only going to remember the scores of the movie they're interested in.
I have a question. Why do you hate fun so much?
I just don't like when movies happen to me.
Oh, well.
Probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody. They're like, hey, I need a good funny movie. Probably would recommend something else. Hey, I need a good kung fu movie. Would probably recommend something else.
What if somebody said, what if I want to watch a good kung fu comedy?
Thank you.
Rush Hour.
She got us there.
Carly won.
Good job.
0.
Good job, babe. Good job. You win. Yep, that was you. You won that.
Not that it's a bad movie. You can watch it if you want to, but I'm not going to be like, hey, you should go out and watch this movie.
Rude as hell. So when we picked this movie without consulting Carly, I told Tyson, and he was a little offended by this, but I told Tyson this is my favorite kung fu movie. I get it. It's not the best kung fu movie, but I haven't watched a lot of kung fu movies. Yeah. So I told Tyson this is my favorite kung fu movie. I would absolutely give this an 8. Yeah, say 8, and I would absolutely recommend it. I think the blend between the respecting the traditional kung fu movie and the over-the-top, like, Lion's Roar School or the 12 Kick School or, like, the Hexagon Rod School and, like, all those things, like, I don't know. I thought it was really over the top and really fun, and all the CGI of like the Matrix almost, but like in a more practical sense. It was I don't know. Yeah. I like it.
Fun facts. We got some facts and they're fun.
Fun facts.
They're facts and they're fun.
Yeah. Sweet. Fun facts. As of 2005, this is the widest cinematic release of a cinematic release. Try that again. As of 2005, this is the widest cinematic release of a foreign language film in the U.S. And that was widest, not whitest. Just for the record. The only other thing I had was some of the references in the movie, if you missed them. There wasn't a lot of great fun facts for this one. So there are 2 Bruce Lee references that I saw. The Return of the Dragon one with where she's doing all like the knuckle cracking to the crime boss. That's like exact Bruce Lee. And then
Nose flick. That's Bruce Lee.
the
Okay.
the part where you can see him cha-chaing through the window. Apparently Bruce Lee was China's 1958 cha-cha champion.
Oh, damn.
Cha-cha champion.
Also, Stephen Chow's choreography in his big fight near the end there was totally Bruce Lee inspired.
Yes.
There's a lot of Bruce Lee poses and movements and shit.
Absolutely. You could definitely see it.
It's also a great line when the one guy is dying. With great power comes great responsibility.
I had that on there.
Spidey Man.
Spider-Man.
Arachnid Boy.
We saw Uncle Ben die all over again.
The Axe Gang is the same gang in the Drunken Master. But they obviously aren't as prevalent in the Drunken Master as they are in this. The part where he walks, the first time Stephen Chow's character is introduced, he's doing all that cool shit with a soccer ball. You can't see my feet, but they were doing really cool shit with a soccer ball. And then he just puts it on the ground, and the kid's like, "Can you teach us, mister?" And he fucking stomps on it and screams, "No more soccer." That was a shout out to Shaolin Soccer.
Which came out 4 years earlier.
It did. It did. When he breaks the Mr. Beast out of the prison, and he turns into the river of blood through the hallway. The Shining
reference, obviously.
And then there was a line where someone said, "What are you prepared to do?" And that's a reference to the Untouchables. Those are the references and fun facts that I have for Kung Fu Hustle. Anything else from anyone else?
Nope.
Those facts were pretty fun.
Hey, you guys! This needs to be acknowledged.
Carly, just wait till I make you watch Kung Pao.
Oh, she's gonna fucking kill us both.
She's gonna murder us mid movie.
Right. Well, I think we're out of here. I think we're done.
Does that about do her?
That about does her.
That's about does her.
Next week's episode will be a surprise because we sprung this one on Carly.
Yeah.
We're allowing her to spring the next one on us. If it's not Eyes Wide Shut, I owe everyone one high five.
I have to find another movie now.
If it is Eyes Wide Shut, I owe everyone 2 high fives.
Still gonna try and find another one because I don't like that he pegged me almost immediately.
Remember to follow us on all our social medias at Jecll Studios. If you want a chance to be the shit-out for the movie, gotta like us on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and stuff and guess the picture. Leave a comment on this video what movie you would like to see us do next. And like, subscribe, bell icon, all that fun stuff. I think that's everything. Sweet. Thanks for watching, and as always, who threw a handle?